poor leadership. Honorable Aloyo Gladys from Puron Primary School, Prime Minister, the floor is yours.
All the protocol remain resolved. This House will tie Acholi poverty index on poor leadership. Honorable judges, allow me to define the key term. The key term are poverty index and poor leadership. To begin with, poverty index is the number of people living within the lowest level of life, approximately not earning $1 and cannot spend $1 a day. Poor leadership. Poor leadership is the inability to guide and direct others. Honorable judges, the topic in this simplified form is this House will tie Acholi poverty, Acholi people's condition of lack of financials and other essentials for a minimum standard of living on poor individual influence and guidance of a society or a region. Currently, we have found that there is high rates of poverty among the people of Acholi sub-region due to poor leadership. Honorable judges, permit me to quote the statistic. I got my quotation from opm.go.ug on the 31st July 2024. It reads, Northern Uganda is among the poorest region in the country with poverty level estimated to be 67%. Our parameter is Acholi sub-region. Acholi sub-region consists of the people of Acholi. As the Ministry of Financial Planning and Economic Development, we will fight poor leadership, for example, faults in land conflict resolution, selfishness, and buying of vote. Because people of Acholi sub-region deserve fairness and justice in land conflict resolution, spirit of togetherness, and free elections. Through the UNCDS, which has been present in Uganda since 1982, we would create a functional planning and financial system to pass the bill to the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, particularly in Acholi sub-region. This will take 3 years. We will notify the public through the UN's bodies in television station, radio station, magazine, newspaper, and so on. We will get funds from World Bank. This will lead to timely and correct proceedings in land conflict resolution at LC2 court and abuse. Develop a sense of togetherness and sharing. Dear August House, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce my team. My name is Honorable Aloy Gladys, the Prime Minister, Honorable Rotomio Samuel, the Deputy Prime Minister, and Honorable Anena Sande, the Government Chief Whip. Honorable judges, allow me to list our line of argument. That is, faults in land conflict resolution, selfishness, and buying of vote. To begin with, faults in land conflict resolution. Land conflict is the misunderstanding between two or more people in a particular piece of land. For example, a well-to-do family will purposely take the land of poor family, and when this poor family reported the case, the leader began to stop them from carrying agriculture production, which lead to poverty. Honorable judges, allow me to quote. According to Makoro, land conflict resolution in Acholi Macro Chief Magistrate regularly overturned LC2 court ruling because of faults in the following procedure. Not only that, but also selfishness. Selfishness is the way of caring about only yourself, but not others. For example, a leader of a Acholi sub-region are selfish in the way that they don't hold the hand of their brothers and sisters who have studied and have no job. People like Chief Justice, the highest Acholi in government, and another high politician from Acholi, and many others could not fight for their people to get position in government. This makes them to be blamed of poverty in Acholi sub-region as a leader. Furthermore, buying a vote is a situation any person from a well-to-do family give a lot of money to people so that they can vote for him or her. For example, our LC won the recent election after giving money and buying drink to people, yet he is incompetent. Right now, as I speak, people have gathered Purongo to divide 3 million brought by an expiring candidate. This makes people to elect incompetent but rich case that the people of Acholi honorable judges allow me to raise my case.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Aloy Gladys. Allow us then to have the Honorable Omia Ruth Gifty from Double A City as the leader of opposition. Madam, you're most welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rotumia Ruth Gifty from Double A City Nursery and Primary School. I'm the first speaker. The second speaker is Abel Seni, and the third one is Nakatu Michelle Megan. Allow me to define the keywords in the motion that states this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Allow me to define the keywords poverty index and poor leadership. Poverty index is a statistical measure that indicates the percentage of a population living below a certain income to poverty line. Poor leadership refers to ineffective, inefficient, or unethical leadership that fails to achieve its goal or prioritize the well-being of the people living in an area. Allow me to read out the status quo. The status quo in Acholi sub-region is characterized by high poverty rates, limited access to basic services, and ongoing efforts to address these challenges through collaborative initiatives and community-based programs. Allow me to go to the current poverty situation. 63.3% of people in Acholi sub-region live in poverty, making it the second poorest region in Uganda after Karamoja. The poverty rate in Acholi sub-region increased by 34.3% between 2012 and 2020. The region faces significant challenges including limited access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Allow me to outline the points. Lack of research, history and external factors, structural issues, lack of resources and infrastructure, complexity of poverty. Dear ladies and gentlemen, allow me to raise my case here while calling upon my opponents to come and line behind me and sing the same song that poverty index in Acholi sub-region should not be tied to poor leadership. I want now to stop here. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Leader of Opposition. Allow us then have the Honorable Ruth Omio Samuel.
All protocols remain observed. Resolved. This house will tie high Acholi poverty index on poor leadership. High honorable judges. My name is called Rotomia Samuel from Primary School. Our Prime Minister has came here and talked about the following lines of argument: faults in land conflict resolution, selfishness, and rigging, buying of votes. As we the affirmatives, we have agreed with the explanation of the key terms given by our Prime Minister. High honorable judges, I know my opponents will come and talk about laziness. That the people of Acholi are lazy, they do not do works, that's why they are lazy. But allow me to inform you before that, the people of Acholi, they are not lazy. They also carry agricultural production, which also lead to development, but the leaders are the one who are not encouraging development in the region because they should mobilize people to do many works and support them in their works, but they are not doing that. Now, why are you saying that they are not responsible for the poverty? No, honorable judges, as they did not knock any lines of argument from our side, allow me to explain faults in land conflict. This is a misunderstanding between two or more people on a particular piece of land. For example, a rich family may purposely take the land which is for a poor family. And when this poor family reported the case to the leaders will give unfair judgment because they are given bribe by that rich person. So they will not give fair
to that poor person, because that person has no money to give to them. So they will take the land to the rich person. And yet the land is for a poor person. Is that one not a leader? There are leaders which lead even to poverty. Not only that, but also selfishness. No, allow me to quote. According to Makoro, land conflicts in Acholi, Makoro Chief Magistrate regularly overturned LC two courts ruling because of faults in the following procedures. Not only that, but also selfishness. This is the act of caring about only yourself, not others. The leaders of Acholi are selfish. How? In such a way that they do not hold the hands of their brothers and sisters who have studied and have no jobs. The leaders like Chief Owing Dolo, the highest Acholi leader in the government, and Robert Mao, another high Acholi leader in the government, could not fight for their people to have position in government and to get jobs. And yet there are very many Acholians here. When you call, even from now, you will find that there are very many of them. You will receive many calls from them, because there are very many people who have studied and have no job, that they are not supporting them. Honorable judges, that's why they are being blamed of poverty in the region. Not only that, but also buying of votes. This is a situation whereby a rich person gives a lot of money to people so that they can elect him or her. For example, a person may give a lot of people to people. Our LC also won the recent election because he has given a lot of money to people and buy many drinks for them. That's why they elect him. And yet he is incompetent. Many people, the leaders, they came and they promised conflict, displacement and external factors rather than poor leadership. While leadership plays a role in addressing poverty, it is an essential to consider the broad historical and external context that has shaped the region's economic and social landscape. Structural issues. Poverty in Acholi sub-region is more closely linked to structural issues such as limited access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities rather than poor leadership. Addressing these issues requires a comprehensive approach that goes beyond leadership alone. The region faces significant challenges in these areas, including low literacy rates, inadequate healthcare, infrastructure, and limited economic opportunities. Furthermore, lack of resources and infrastructure. Poverty in Acholi sub-region is more closely tied to a lack of resources and infrastructure such as roads, electricity, communication, and communication networks, rather than poor leadership. The region's infrastructure is underdeveloped, making it difficult for businesses to operate and for people to access basic services. Investing in infrastructure and resources can help stimulate economic growth and reduce poverty, regardless of
Points of information.
Denied. Finally,
Point of information.
Not allowed. Complexity of poverty.
Points of information.
Allowed.
Hi, Honorable Speaker. I heard you saying that there is poor infrastructures in Acholi sub-region. But allow me to inform you that those infrastructures, the leaders are the one who are supposed to maintain them so that they are being clear. So it also leads to poverty because they are not maintaining the infrastructures.
Thank you.
Honorable Rotumia, I think that you are lying of that because the leaders are very lazy that now they cannot even stand up and talk about the infrastructure to help those people of the even of the 9 votes. They cannot help those leaders. Thank you. Complexity and of poverty. Poverty is a complex issue that cannot be attributed to a single factor, including poor leadership. Research has shown that poverty is often the result of multiple factors, including economic, social, and cultural factors. Effective poverty reduction strategies require a nuanced understanding of these complexities and a multifaceted approach. As I conclude, I would like to call upon our opponents aligned with us as we sing the same song as poverty index in Acholi sub-region should not be tied to poor leadership. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Sheila Aloyo. Allow us then have the government whip, the Honorable Anena Sande.
Hold the protocol remain observed, resolve. This how will tie Acholi poverty index on poor leadership. Honorable judges, High Honorable Anena Sande from primary school. As a government chief whip, I've come to rebuild all our line of argument, rebut all the line of argument brought by the opposer. To start with, honorable judges, allow me to debate on our line of argument as they did not rebut any line of argument of ours. We talked about faults in land conflict resolution. We say that land conflict is a misunderstanding between 2 or more people in a particular pieces of land. Poor leadership, they can't fight for as a church, they can't fight for our land to come back to us. Assuming that a rich person is having money, they are competing with a poor person to get this or her land back. But the leadership, that's because of money. Because of their poor leadership, they will end up eating the money of a rich person and leaving a poor person blind as a blinding bull. But they can't fight for the poor people to get their thing back to them. So why are you confusing us and blaming the people of Acholi sub-region as if for them they can't fight for their own bodies to get their thing back without a leader? So stop confusing us by saying that the people of Acholi are poor, they can't fight for their thing. These things are supposed to be done by leadership, not people of Acholi. We continue by saying selfishness is the act of caring about yourself only. A leadership of Acholi sub-region are poor that they can't fight for their people. They can't share what they have to their people. For example, the people of Acholi, some they are in parliament, but they can't fight for their children. We have bad road. Our children, they're dropping out of school, but they can't fight for our children. They can't fight for us. We are just young children. We are in school. We can't drop out of the school, but the leaders can't fight for us. Maybe our parents, they can't afford. I honor your table. They can't afford to pay our fees, but leadership, they can't fight for us. So why are you blaming the people of Acholi instead of blaming a poor leadership? We continue by saying that buying of vote. They say that it's a situation of any persons from a well-to-do family give a lot of money to people to elect them. Leaders of Acholi sub-region are giving money to people so that they elect them, even they're incompetent. They can't do something to provide and protect we as Acholi people. They can't fight for our country. They can't fight for our sub-region. So why are you blaming the people of Acholi sub-region? You should blame leadership because they're in the parliament. They should send your voice there and fight for you. They are not doing anything. They are just sitting there enjoying their money as if you are not the one who elected them. Why are you blaming the people of Acholi instead of blaming the leaders of Acholi sub-region? They can't fight for you. They can't fight for your parents. Now you are blaming your parents, the same as you are blaming your parents instead of blaming the leaders. Honorable judges, allow me to knock out the misleading line of argument brought by the opposer. They talked about lack of resources, that people of Acholi sub-region, there is lack of resources. But let me inform you that the people of Acholi, they have enough resources for them. If the leaders, they are strong and they fight for them, they struggle to get that resources back to them. Acholi are the most richest people in the country, if you are to see. They have everything that they need, but the leadership, they don't know how to use that thing and to defend this others. Leadership, they are not fighting for our rights. They are not fighting for our properties. They just go there, they want to be eating money all days and nights. So why are you blaming the people of Acholi sub-region instead of blaming the leadership? They can't fight for you. Now why are you confusing the room by saying that this is a people of Acholi? No. It's a leaders of Acholi sub-region. They can't fight for you and you are supporting them. Honorable judges, before I take my seat, allow me to do this. We talked about false in land conflict resolution, and we say that people of Acholi
displacement and loss of livelihoods. Structural issues. The region faces significant challenges in these areas, including low literacy rates,
point of
indicate
information.
healthcare, infrastructure, and limited economic opportunities. Lack of resources and infrastructure. The region's infrastructure is underdeveloped, making it difficult for
Point of
business
information.
not allowed to operate and for
Point of
people
information.
to access basic services is allowed.
Let me inform you that the reason they're under in development because our leadership, they are not fighting for us, because if they are to fight for us, our region will be developed. But
Michelle, allow us then have the reply speech from team opposition.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I, Rotumia Ruth Gifty, once back again from team opposition side. The reason why we are saying that we are going to win this debate because of the following reason. I am the first speaker. I give her the status quo, the current poverty situation and poverty index, and the keywords in the motion were poverty index and poor leadership. And I am the first speaker. I outlined the points, and they were historical and external factors, structural issues, and lack of resources and infrastructure, complexity of poverty. And our second speaker also came and explained the motion. They give out point of information. Our second speaker had to answer them. So that's why I'm saying that we are going to win the debate. And our third speaker came and add more flesh on what our second speaker was talking about. Allow me on what our second speaker was talking about. Allow me to stop here. Thanks.
Thank you very much. May we have a reply speech from team government?
Hold the protocol, remain observed once more. As I said, my name is Honorable Anela Sande from primary school. I have come here to give our reply speech. To start with, we give our house, that is the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and it is fit for this motion. They can fight poverty through giving us money, and we're going to fight poverty. And our status quo was loud and clear, but they did not give the loud and clear status quo. Our parameter is actually sub-region, but I've never heard them giving that parameter. We talked about force in land conflict resolution, and we say that leaders, if a poor person reported about their land, instead of solving the problem, they will take the land to another person, which is happening, and it is true. For them, they talked about lack of resources. They say that there's a lack of resources in Acholi sub-region, which is like the resources is there, but the leadership are not fighting to make that resources to be used. So that line of argument is invalid, cannot work, because it have no strong definition. We continue by saying that selfishness. We say that leaders of Acholi sub-region are selfish, that they can't hold the hand of their brothers and sisters who studied and have no job, leading to poverty, which is true. Leaders are going there to benefit these or her family members and the clan members, leaving other people's out as if you are not the same Acholi. They are not fighting for us. We continue by saying that buying of vote. Leaders of Acholi are giving money to people to elect them, and yet they're incompetent. They can elect them, but they can't do anything in the parliament. They just be there, be enjoying their soda, food, and their money that they pay them. So why are you saying that poor leadership should be blamed? The poverty rate in Acholi sub-region should be blamed on people of Acholi. No, it should be blamed on poor leadership. We continue, but we said before I take my seat, I still want to say that I call my opponent to come and start with us, so that will lead them to the right path and the right way to say that the high poverty, the high Acholi poverty index should be tied on poor leadership, not the people of Acholi, because they are the one misleading us. Therefore, I rest.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Speaker. Back to you, Willie Max.
Thank you very much, Judge Isaac, and you can feel free to say hi to your friends. You can shake hands as we wait for the pronouncement of your case is as late before the
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, in this round, it's a blind round. No feedback from the judges, only feedback from listeners.
All right. Thank you. So that means I'm coming back to you, Simon.
Thank you.
Studio One.
Thank you so much, Willie, and of course the adjudicators and the debating school, Poron, and then Double AA City. Well, la wena dia wingi botin tamaka megi kom school ario mageno bedo kanyamulo kin gini meno Poron, Poron gin ki Double AA, jera bira bora deka ria deka biro, jera bira bicha deka jera bidu ngana boro abicha no ngo maitwere berkero me wachine men lok manotini ago berekere me lokoni. Yes, Willie.
Yes, as we're going to be taking the calls, we want to invite Favour of God Primary School to get ready, in fact, to come in the debate room. And
Willie, use another mic.
Favour and School Road.
Okay.
Favour and School Road, please come inside the debate room as we're going to be getting feedback from the listeners outside. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, awin kibotin kin machamo kene ineno makamigi tie kere twale mene kum debate mao karo kubicha wani twale mene kina poro kachel ki double la win radio na machima kamega twali jera bira boro adeka ria adeka biro no jera bira beach adeka jera beach mwana boro beach tamango meter wachune kom lok malotino miskula rio eni again gobere kaloko ne mafut pia duri minute fale debate marione ikin favor nasari ka chela na kosa ki school road magien ko bechawani anogen ti don kadonyo iwat men menen oroto again air debate men mo kene. Hello Favor FM. Hello
Nungu sapole ba?
afoy mateko twal
We need debate for the theater for the men makoy nung pa. Ana ano tiya from that maleng ma. Koy ko.
afoy mateko twal.
Yeah.
Okay, for mateko twale na twale meno tama kamigi kam debate mo kare kino tino poron ka chelki double city nasar primary school. Another call possible here on 0783-833-237 and 075-059855. Before I take you back, for the second debate between Favour Nasan Primary School, then School Road Nasan Primary School, who are about to start again. And of course, again, tika nene meno gilolo madite not for meno chan no meno matia chulni ti pero parotela. Hello, Favour FM. Hello.
Nini?
Timo be manga?
Daddy Wilwan.
Yes, ulwal tirni.
Tapi protein on timo leng ma. Tiang ti do ma brand ti fo ti ma leng. Ti tapi ga ti ma be.
For my take out twala na minute twala again and cause appreciation men bolutino magina ameno ki poron la window dio for my take out twal in my tie cameo at tam makamegi. Hello Favour FM. Hello.
Follow ba.
Kifo naga.
Hindi palo tini ti maleng. Agora take for all.
Mateko twaleno en tie ka gweto take kiwi poron in kono ekin poron ki double city nasare inoni men school mene ma gen guguru olo to chwini meno ki debate maka megi atwala mena na kosa chan matia chulini ati twal pero parotela mapabejo. Hello Favour FM.
Hello.
Afoy mate manga.
Any Patrick any dugura ba?
Yes Patrick.
Programera gwero tik we wiji.
Oh gwero take wi poron.
Ya le mo no gileng.
Yeah pe.
Bang. My bad.
For Mateko Twalen, will you let me know if I am supposed to get back to you?
Yes, you are supposed to.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you very much, everybody who's listening to us outside there. And those who are following us on TikTok, we are so grateful. And then even those who are with us on YouTube. You can still do the same. And the team is sharing the links on our different forums so that you can be able to follow up this proceeding with ease. My dear judges, let me grant you this latitude so we can proceed.
Thank you very much. We then kick off with the second debate. As we kick off for the second debate, Riverside Primary School versus Gulu Central, you're up next. Then after that, Eagle Nazarene Primary School versus Labor Line. Get set. I therefore invite the Honorable Ayakaka Masi Nabasa, the Honorable Prime Minister, for tonight's debate.
Thank you, the judges, the two competing parties, the listeners at large, and you, the audience. My name is Ayakaka Masinabasa from Favour of God National Primary School. We have come to propose a motion which states, this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. But we as team proposition support this motion by saying it is true. This house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Judges, allow me to simplify the motion by tackling the keywords, which are tie, high, Acholi, index, poverty, and poor leadership. Tie, to connect something to another or linking an issue to another one. High, simply refers to the intensity amount of something. Acholi, a tribe that belongs to the Nilotic ethnic group of people found in the northern part of Uganda. Index means the amount of something. Poverty is a state or condition in which an individual, community, or country lacks the financial resources and essentials for basic standard of living. Poor leadership means a group of leaders of a particular organization or area having lower quality than expected. These leaders can be elected, appointed, inherited, or even religious leaders. Judges, here our parameter is Acholi sub-region. And currently in Acholi sub-region is among the poorest sub-regions in Uganda. There is a lot of poverty in Acholi sub-region. And we as team proposition do not believe that it is the people's fault, but it is the leaders' fault, because they are all not paying attention to these people. So judges, allow me to lay our case. We as team proposition are going to emphasize on governance failure, lack of economic opportunities, and inequitable distribution of resources. Allow me to emphasize on governance failure. Ineffective leadership can lead to poor resource allocation, corruption, and mismanagement. This can lead to poverty. Corruption is the embezzlement of public funds for personal gain. Government funds like Emiaga, NUSAF, and PDM, some of them have not reached some parts of northern Uganda. These people take this money and these funds to places that they care more about. Like they can take it to their friends, the people they know, leaving the other people neglected, and they will not get these resources. And these people are left poor, leaving a big gap between them and the places provided with resources. And this is not right. These leaders are very poor and they do not have right mindset to lead these people in Acholi sub-region. These people are suffering just because of these people's neglection. They have neglected them, leaving them poor, and they are not having the resources as the other places. If you are to compare some parts of Acholi sub-region to other places, they are not equal. Acholi sub-region, some parts are very poor. If we are to see the roads, some of them cannot be traveled. Some of them cannot be moved on because they are
Point
very
of
poor.
information goes to the current
Right
speaker.
now,
Is it allowed?
as you are to see the roads, they are very poor. Right now, even we're in wet season, if you are to see the roads, very poor.
Point
People
of
cannot travel.
information goes to the current speaker. Is
If
it allowed?
these leaders were to provide these resources, these people would not be suffering in this way. Other places are not even having any electricity. If you are to see, some places are very poor, suffering in the night. Some people are now resorting to deforestation just because they do not have electricity to support them with their businesses. Others are educated, but these people do not provide job opportunities to them, and they are left stranded just at home with nothing to do. Judges, if you are to see in Acholi sub-region, people are really suffering. And we as team proposition believe that it is this poor leadership causing this, not the people themselves. Judges, I rest my case here by saying, this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I beg to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Prime Minister. Allow us then have the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Okot Edward Sekande.
Honorable judges, the two competing parties and the House at large, I salute you all. Before you here is Honorable Sekande from School Road Nasuran Primary School. Today we have gathered here for a very important motion of discussion which states, this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. As a senior member from the opposition side, I want to categorically say that this motion is absolutely written wrongly. It should have been written as, this House will not tie high actual poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, being the first speaker from the opposition side, I have come here to perform the following task. Define the keywords used in the motion, state the perimeter of the debate, state the status quo and lay down our cases. Meanwhile, the second speaker is coming to refute, rebuttal, rebuild, and explain our points of argument. Whereas the second speaker is finally coming to refute, rebuttal, rebuild, weigh and win the debate. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, by the virtue of power and authority given to me as the first speaker from the opposition side, allow me to go straight and define the key words used in the motion. Firstly, the word tie. The word tie in this context means to put blame on the leaders in Acholi sub-region for the high rate of poverty in the region. Poverty index. Poverty index refers to the percentage of the population living on less than $1.9 or it is equivalent in local currency rate. And the local currency rate of Uganda is currently 2,000 shillings. In other words, it's the measure of the number of people living below the international poverty lines as set by the World Bank. Poor leadership. Poor leadership refers to the inability of leaders to make informed decisions, prioritize the needs of their constituents, and provide effective governance. High honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, the perimeter of today's debate is Acholi sub-region, which is currently having 8 districts, which includes district of Amoro, Gulu, Noya, Agago, Pade, Lamour, Omoro, and Chitgum district. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give the status quo by stating that Acholi sub-region is one of the poorest regions in Uganda. This region has struggled with poverty for almost centuries with no hope of economic recovery. This high rate of poverty is believed to be perpetuated by the leadership in the region and other factors. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to lay down our cases as follows. Firstly, historical context of poverty in Acholi sub-region. Secondly, climate change and environmental degradation. Thirdly, limited access to education and healthcare. Then lastly, global economic trends. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain our first point of argument, which is historical context of poverty in Acholi sub-region. Acholi sub-region has experienced decades of conflicts, displacement, and instability, which has led to poverty. For instance, the LRA insurgency, which lasted from 1986 to 2006, destroyed infrastructures, displaced communities, and disrupted economic activities in the region, leading to poverty. An example, it was from the study by the International Rescue Committee in the year 2008, found out that LRA war in Acholi sub-region led to decline in livelihoods, with 70% of households relying on subsistence farming for survival. For this reason, this house should not tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Who are you then to come and deceive us with your baseless and useless points? Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude here upon calling my opponent to come and line behind me in supporting that. This house will not tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I say this for God and my country.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Court Edward Segandi. Allow us then have the Honorable Rotomia Daniel Omona.
I salute the table of the judges, the two competing parties, the audience, and you, the listeners at large. My name is Daniel Omona. I am a pupil of Favour of Good Nursery and Primary School, and we have come as a team to propose a motion that states, this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Dear judges, audience, and listeners at large, allow me clarify what the first speaker on the opposition side said. He came and talked on historical context, whereby he said all the Acholi got involved in war, was at war. What do you think caused this war in Acholi, if not poor leadership? You said insurgency was in Acholi sub-region, but all this insurgency was caused by poor leadership. The people of Acholi saw that the government was not good, was not helping them, so they needed change in leadership. These people were not understanding with them. So they had to jump and start fighting. So many insurgents rose, all because of poor leadership. So judges, historical context cannot be the cause of poor leadership, cannot be the cause of the Acholi poverty index.
Point of
Dear
information to the
judges,
precurrent speaker. Is it allowed?
our first speaker came and emphasized on government
Point of
government
information to
failure.
the precurrent speaker. Is it allowed?
You may proceed.
Honorable, I want to inform you that the LRA war was stopped by our leaders. Who are you then to come and blame our leaders?
I'm not blaming the leaders. I'm giving you the cause. The leaders caused it. I'm not blaming them. The leaders are the cause of the war. The people saw the leaders weren't helpful. So they had to fight for their rights themselves. Because they have seen the leaders were not fighting for themselves. Were fighting for themselves, not for them. Dear judges,
Point
our
of
first speaker
information goes to the
talked
precarious
on
speaker. Is it
government's
allowed?
failure. She said ineffective leadership
Point of
can lead to
information goes
poor
to the
resource
precarious speaker. Is it
allocation
allowed?
and mismanagement. This can lead to poverty. Dear judges, these leaders embezzle public funds for personal gains. These public funds can be Emioga, NUSAF, PDM, and dear judges, we have seen these leaders being arrested for these things they're doing. They're snatching the money of the public. They're using it for their own personal gains. The money that was supposed to be used for the public, they'll use it for themselves. So all of you have seen these leaders being arrested, taken to prison for these things they have been doing. Dear judges, these leaders sit in parliament. They do not talk for the people. They sit quiet and just seeing what is happening in the parliament. They don't advocate for the Acholi. They see the Acholi suffering.
Point of
They don't
information
go and
goes to
talk for
the
them.
precarious speaker. Is
Dear
it allowed?
judges, allow me elaborate more on lack of economic opportunities. Poor leadership can lead to poverty. These leaders can fail to create, invest infrastructure, and that, dear judges, can lead to poverty. The lack of economic growth causing poverty. Dear judges, these leaders cannot even support the local saving groups in Acholi. They'll not do anything for them. Dear judges, these leaders, not only that, dear judges, these leaders have failed to create jobs, industries that could have created jobs for the Acholi and eradicated
Point of
poverty in
information to
Acholi.
the current
people
speaker. Is
in
it
Acholi
allowed?
would have been rich by now. Dear judges, and I still remember something. Dear judges, your first speaker was talking of war, right? That war was long ago. But now, are we still having war? We are not having war. Right now, there's no war in Acholi. We are at peace, dear judges. The people of Acholi are at peace. But
Point
the
of
leaders,
information goes to
they're
the
still
precarious
making
speaker. Is it
the
allowed?
people of Acholi poor. They cannot even tell the people of Acholi that the war has ended. Come back and start doing jobs. This war, you're saying these jobs were closed, right? But the jobs were closed that the leaders could have funded their jobs. But that they did not do that. Our third speaker will come and emphasize on equitable distribution of resources. Dear judges, arrest my case, dear judges, by saying this motion is correctly written. This house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Dear judges, thank you. Arrest my case.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Ruot Omiyo Daniel Mona. Allow us then have the Honorable Ruot Ngeyo Isaac.
The tape of the honorable adjudicators, the two competing parties and the House at large, I salute you all. I am by the name Ronge Isaac from School Road Nursery and Primary School, coming to debate on a very important motion with this House will tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that this motion is 100% written wrongly. It should have been written as, this House will not tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, as a second speaker from the negative side, I've come on this stage to refute, rebuttal, rebuild, and explain the points of argument from where the first speaker stopped. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, before I go further, allow me to crash one of the points mentioned by my opponents, which was governance failure. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I had one of the opponents saying, one of the members of affirmative side saying that the roads in Acholi sub-region have poor conditions. But I would like to tell you that the people of Acholi sub-region are the ones misusing these roads. They're throwing looks on these roads. Protected time. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to allow me to crash one of their points as they say that the money are being embezzled by the leaders in Acholi sub-region. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that the transport, the depositing of money from the government to the local leaders is allowed.
You're saying the roads in Acholi, one, are not good. But, dear judges, it's the job of the leaders to maintain the roads in Acholi. They should not just sit and see that the roads are not good and just leave it like that. It's their work as the local government to maintain the roads in Acholi. Thank you.
House Speaker, thank you for your point of information, but I would like to correct you by saying that it is not also the work of the people of Acholi sub-region to be destroying roads that the leaders are working. They want to see that the leaders are working. But these leaders are also building roads so that they can improve the security, the transportation of goods in Acholi sub-region. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to reveal our first point of argument, which was historical contents of poverty in Acholi sub-region. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, as our first speaker said that the LRA was distracted communities and destroyed infrastructures, I would like to tell you that if the communities are not working together, the people of Acholi sub-region will not be building the infrastructures which were supposed to be built in Acholi sub-region by then. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain our second point of argument, which was...
Point of information.
It's allowed.
It's not the work of the people to build the roads, but it's the work of the local government to build the roads in Acholi. So why is still saying that it's the work of the people? It's the work of the leaders in Acholi to do all the stuff. The people cannot fund the building of those roads. It's the leaders, the one, to fund the building of those roads.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for your point of information, but I would like to correct you by saying that it is as the people of Acholi sub-region, we need to pay tax for the construction of roads, and the leaders in Acholi sub-region cannot construct the roads by themselves. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, they also need our help to construct those roads. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying that the impact of climate change and environmental degradation has also contributed to poverty in Acholi sub-region. The changes in weather patterns and prolonged sunshines affected agricultural productivity and poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain our third point of argument, which is limited access to education and healthcare. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, limited access to education and healthcare have also contributed to high index of poverty in Acholi sub-region. Many communities lack access to quality education and health care services. This leads to poor health, shortage of skills, and low productivity. For example, the Ministry of Education and Sports found out that the Acholi sub-region has a high school dropout rate with 30% of children dropping out of school due to poverty. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, this is taken from the research by the Ministry of Education and Sports in 2020. Therefore, this house should not tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain our fourth and last point of argument, which is global economic trends. Honorable judges and my opponents, global economic trends such as trade policies and market fluctuation are also impacting poverty levels in Acholi sub-region. Honorable judges, allow me to say that the decline of traditional industries such as cotton and tobacco has led to job losses and reduced income, which results in poverty. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude here by kindly requesting my opponents, if they are not jealous of Acholi sub-region to develop, they should come and line up behind me in supporting that. This house should not tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I say this for God and my country.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Rotngeo Isaac. Allow us then have the Honorable Sarah Thorne.
My salutation goes to the table of the judges, the two competing parties, the audience, and the listeners at large. My name is Ayuen Sarah Thorne, a pupil of Favour of God Nursery and Primary School. The motion of tonight's debate reads, this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Dear judges, allow me clarify what the second speaker on the opponent side said. He came and talked about changes in climatic conditions. Dear judges, If the leaders have seen that there are changes in climatic conditions, they can give a method that can make the people to improve on the agricultural produce. They can introduce what is called irrigation farming, where you can plant your crops at any time. So,
Point of information to the current speaker, is it allowed?
Not allowed. So the leaders are not doing that. Some areas in Acholi sub-region, they have not introduced that, and people are getting poor yields. So this house will tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership.
Current speaker, is it allowed?
Not allowed. Dear judges, our second speaker came and spoke about lack of economic opportunities, in which he said poor leadership can fail to invest in infrastructures and promote economic growth. Dear judges, if the leaders fail to invest in infrastructures, farmers would not be able to take their goods to the main markets, where the vendors are very many, which they can buy their goods and they get income. Because of poor roads, they will be discouraged, because right now, if you see it's rainy season, if the farmers are to say that they should go to the main market and take their goods, the road is too muddy for them to go. If the farmers are to say that they should go to the main market, causing poor economic growth, leading to poverty in Acholi sub-region. So this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Dear judges, allow me talk about inequitable distribution of resources. Leaders might prioritize personal gains or specific groups, neglecting the broader population. Dear judges, this is very true. If you are to walk around Acholi sub-region here, you go to some areas, you find some areas are developed, some areas are not developed. If you're to go around, let me give for an example. If you go to Teguana, and the leader, the family member stay in Teguana, that leader will surely think that, let me go to Teguana area and I develop it because my family members are there. That is truly taking place in Acholi sub-region.
Point of information to the current speaker, is it allowed?
So, they will be developing that area, leaving the other people. The population will be very poor, causing poverty in Acholi sub-region. And this is being caused due to poor leadership. Dear judges, this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Dear judges, if I am to weigh the debate, I think we have won for the following reasons. Our first speaker came here. She stated the status quo. She mentioned the parameter. She laid down our case. And she defined the motion by tackling the key words. Our second speaker came here. He confirmed the motion. He refuted and rebutted. He elaborated on his own points. And he went and sat down and he did it perfectly. I myself, I came here, I refuted and rebutted, I confirmed the motion, I elaborated on my own point, and I weighed the debate. Dear judges, the opponent sides, they asked a point of information, which we agreed, and we answered in a satisfactory way. So, dear judges, we asked them some points of information, and they did not agree. That shows a clear sign of defeat. Because you were misleading the house, you would not know what to answer. So you declined, you refused. Dear judges, allow me to rest my case here by saying this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I beg to stop here.
Thank you very much, the government whip, Honorable Sarah. Allow me then have the Honorable Karabe Treasure. The floor is yours.
Maximum salutation goes to the table of the high honorable adjudicators, the two competing parties and the house at large. I'm Honorable Akari Treasure from School and Nursery and Primary School. Today's motion reads, this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I want to categorically say that this motion is absolutely written wrongly. It should have been written as, this house will not tie actually poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, as a senior third member from the opposition side, I have come here to refute, rebuttal, rebuild, weigh and win the debate. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, as a senior third member from the opposition side, I want to firstly start by refuting the points mentioned by my opponents. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I heard them talking about governance failure. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, leaders in Acholi sub-region have not neglected anyone. Then why are you saying that the leaders in Acholi sub-region are neglecting people in Acholi sub-region? But let me tell you that, no, leaders are not doing that. Honorable judges,
point of information, is it allowed?
It's allowed.
You said the leaders in Acholi sub-region haven't neglected any people. You go around Lalia there, you find no electricity there. How do you say that? What do you say about that?
Honorable judges, allow me to respond to the POI raised by my opponents. Honorable, let me tell you, you are saying that the leaders in Acholi sub-region are neglecting people, but let me tell you, they are not. There are a lot of things to be done in Acholi sub-region. That's why they propose, the members of proposer side are saying that the leaders in Acholi sub-region are neglecting people. But let me tell you that no, there are a lot of things that should be done in Acholi sub-region. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to refute.
Point of information, please.
It's allowed.
Can you please cite for me the examples of those things that are supposed to be done in a Acholi sub-region, please?
Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, honorable, allow me to tell you that, allow me to tell for you the examples of things that should be done in Acholi sub-region. They have to build schools in Acholi sub-region. They have to construct roads in Acholi sub-region. They have to even introduce irrigation methods in Acholi sub-region. There are lots of things to be done in Acholi sub-region that I can't even mention them all.
Point of information, please.
It's allowed.
You are saying these leaders have to construct schools and irrigation farming. Yet some of these places are not even having even a single school to go to study. How are you saying that they are creating schools when this, all of us know that Acholi sub-region is having very few schools?
Honorable, let me tell you. Now you are thinking that there are some areas in Acholi sub-region that are not having schools. There are a lot of places that are having schools. There is no area that is not having any schools. Even if one, that is a school. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to refute the second point of arguments mentioned by my opponents.
Point of information, please.
It's allowed.
Can one school occupy all the children in Acholi sub-region?
Honorable, I didn't say that there is only one school in Acholi sub-region. Are you saying that there is only one school in Acholi sub-region? There are lots of schools.
That's what you mentioned.
Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, the leaders in Acholi sub-region have helped a lot of people in Acholi sub-region. But the people in Acholi sub-region are not seeing that leaders are helping them. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what the Acholi people want by the leaders. Even if the leaders construct roads in Acholi sub-region, they cannot see. I don't know what is wrong with the people in Acholi sub-region. Or whether they need which kind of help. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, we the people in Acholi sub-region, we have to help the leaders. We have to help them to show that we are united. If we help one another, if we cooperate together, that shows that we are united. Then we are going to develop the regions in Acholi sub-region. The regions, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I had the members of proposition side saying that the leaders in Acholi sub-region are the cause of poverty index. But let me tell you that correlation does not imply causation. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, while there may be a relationship between poor leadership, while there may be a relationship between poor leadership and high poverty rates, it is unclear whether poor leadership are the primary cause of poverty in Acholi sub-region. Therefore, leaders need not to be blamed for this reason. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rebuild our second point mentioned by my sins. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, which is resources and capacity. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, local leaders in Acholi sub-region may face significant challenges in gathering resources and building capacity, which can limit their ability to effectively govern and reduce poverty in the Acholi sub-region. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rebuild our third point of argument mentioned by my opponents, which is mismanagement of resources, which is external factors beyond poor leadership. Honorable judges, Acholi poverty indexes have also been raised by some external factors such as climate change, global economic trends, and national policies. These too should also be considered other than putting blames on leaders. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I would like to say that while leadership may play a role in addressing poverty, it is not the primary cause of poverty. In Acholi sub-region, historical context, climate change, limited access to education and healthcare, limited access to education, healthcare, and global economic trends have all contributed to high poverty level in Acholi sub-region. Then why are you deceiving the House, misleading the House that it is poor leadership causing poverty
Speaker,
in Acholi
your
sub-region?
time is done.
I say this for God and my country. Thanks.
Reply speech.
Thank you, honorable adjudicators, the two competing parties and the House at large. I have not come here to debate but to give the reply speeches. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm saying that this motion has fallen is because our first speaker came and defined the keywords used in the motion correctly, said the status quo, stated the perimeter, laid down our points of argument and explained the first point of arguments. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker came and refuted, rebuttal, rebuild, and explained the points of argument from where the first speaker stopped. And the third speaker came and refuted, rebuild, and adding to the above, our points of argument were all relevant and they included historical contents of poverty in the Acholi sub-region, which are all true. Limited access to education and healthcare, climate change and environmental degradation, and global economic trends, which were all true, and it is leading to poverty in the Acholi sub-region. Adding to the above, the proposal said did not raise as a point of information but was answered correctly, and the points of information that raised them was not answered correctly. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, it's because of this reason that's why we, the negative side, are saying that this motion has fallen. I say this for God and my country.
Thank you very much, the Honorable. May we then have the Honorable from the proposition side to come and crown the debate with a reply speech.
Once more, I thank the table of the judges, the two competing parties, the audience, and the listeners at large. I still remain Ayaka Kamasi Navasa from Favour of God Nursery and Primary School, and I have come back to this stage for a reply speech. We as team proposition came to support a motion which reads, this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. The reason why I believe that this motion is still standing firm is our first speaker came, defined the motion, stated the parameter, stated the status quo, laid down the points of argument, and elaborated perfectly well. Our second speaker came, refuted, rebuilt, rebutted, and laid down his point perfectly well, and he explained it in a way that everybody understood. Our third speaker came and performed her duties of refuting, rebuilding, rebattling, and also
Willie and our listeners.
Thank you very much, Judge Isaac, and the honorables are greeting each other right now, and I'm certain that my judges are okay with me asking them to leave the stage as we invite to come the Gulu Central Junior and the Riverside to come and take on the stage. The results are going to be pronounced later on. But Simon, as is the modus operandi today, you will take some callers, and then we'll, as we allow the next team to take stage, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Willie, if you are honorable anyway. Well, and because man Favour FM, Winky Botin. Hello, Favour.
Hello.
Hello.
Favour.
And for my tech, Tama can make in Favour, Kachilki School Road.
Charles feel good. Actually, it's very my band. Because we are getting any very different from music festival. The mechanical very the lock very away anywhere I know you lock key very so again I mean the time here. If you can lock better man know you're very confident. Come come here, Guinea.
For you. Deko 12 men adita chela kilo gore wale jera bira boro deka ria deka biro jera bira bicha deka jera bicha bungwana bora bicha bitama kamegi kin Favour Nasan Primary School ka chela ki school road. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Ana foy matek man nga.
Apo into Dr. Amos. Yeah, ana na ma yen gubira.
Afoy mateko 12 adita nen kat fergama chimo kene mafut pia dure bor Willie Max kiti makamege
ini ana tamani utem ne winyi le mo ngi tigare
afoy mateko 12 adita anyway it joma gwogi entida it verber ker me following you ben man live i TikTok kido man YouTube no chal protein in one tiko no chet YouTube and of course yen mere Favour FM chibi not falmen Favour FM Primary School debate live chibi neno Jimmy Duju matika teme iye bodwa kan men through our YouTube channel as well as TikTok makamegwa Lawin Radio. Hello Favour FM. Hello. Yes. Atika looking at. Yes, Palatine. Tama kameki. For Mateko Twalen, Willie, let me know if you are a set.
Yeah, I think Simon, thank you very much. Our studio is packed with those who are watching this proceedings, but in the next few minutes, Gulu Central Junior is going to be taking on Riverside, and I think the judges are now ready.
Okay, please.
So we can proceed. And this is important because the results is not going to be announced today, but on Saturday. That is when we are going to be expecting the result for today's debate to be announced.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much. My dear adjudicators, are we ready to proceed? Okay. So, Simon, we will still give you some time to maybe interact with the audience out.
Okay.
And then I will signal to you if we are ready in Studio B.
Thank you. Jera bira bora deka rio deka biro no jera bira bicha deka jera bicha ngona bora bicha kaiti kitama kamegi malupa ki debate mena parotiano kwan mati ka wot iye kan man Favour FM Primary School debates wa winyo debate Mario obedikin Favour Nursery and Primary School ka chelki School Road debate matcha obedikin Poron ka chelki Double AA City Nursery and Primary School. Hello Favour.
Hello.
Ana foy mate manga.
Man Nadia Kilaro.
La ro tiene.
La ro tenande. Tina yom tutwan. Kapalo tema wati la kere. For sure, the bed will lack it is for you because that day is no poor long command. Hey, the bed used not to be like this. But I'm really so pleased.
Yeah.
You may take it for you one there. And then I follow for your school's way.
Oh, okay.
I follow Seba there for my
Mateko 12 medical in your Favour FM, what the primary school debate. A school's chima drunka in Mapelare, at Tini now we po ichia bichel mokate, waber 12 medical preliminary, Dano Dojo Geno debating, and all back today. At in Locatini will actually be a knockout. And Mapoido, Team Mabero 12, ichia bichel maniana no piti, Kadugo, Meno, Eningo, Manotica Time, La Wind Radio, Jera Bira Bora, Deca Ria, Deca Biro, Jera Bira Beach, Deca Jera, Beach, Bungana Bora, Beach, in a Machimber, Full Metwere Berkero. Meti kere La Wind Radio. Hello Favour FM. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Jim. You go out and I do. I'm got in Kwam school, no Kwam. I know government schools in Mara. Quality private school. Hello, government school, I blame you, Mark before. Only work a Mohammed and Romo, you pay no numbers for government school to pay them.
For Matega Twalena, well, Warga, Kichoyo, both schools, Madrunga, Ta, Konopa Wigine, Konopa Gamente. So one watika tiki school make you responding, but on the toe, I know better by Kainen no school, Magino no Warga, again responding, Magino Chualati and Makamegi, whether it's private, whether it's public, I mean, whether private, whether government, one, which you Warga, both school, Polo Dojo. Hello, Favour FM.
Hello.
Hello.
Genesis Passion.
Yes, Genesis.
Yes. I'm very, very, very happy for the pupils today. All the two schools that have participated, the four schools so far, that's so good. It gives me a reflection on why I said I need to sponsor something there. These pupils, when we look at them, they're the future parliamentarian. The wording and the confidence, when you see from YouTube, for those who are following live, they're very confident.
Yeah.
They are very, very confident. For you in Studio A, you're not seeing, but in Studio B, I'm seeing them, they are very confident.
Yeah, yeah.
The people of this one, the school, the one that were participating in the Favour FM, they're very okay. I like their speech, I like them, and I will just encourage those one who are coming next should be confident like that. Last Saturday was a little bit, somehow, when they're just starting things, it was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But today they have improved so much. I like that. I said congratulations to them.
Thank you so much for your words of encouragement to the pupils. Hello, Favour FM.
Hello.
Ana mabe manga.
Manja kulala. Kasi kultiin ti mabe kiri winyo log mana chala ka loge. No kiri na no pero winyo no me gen winyo be log bande. Wan lu winyo sa du ju mer wa sa pata imun. Petiri di ma ti ma ja wo de ma te. Me o be ka ja ba sa pata imun.
Foi mateko twal en well pirrek anakos kai tie ki miri mi bolu bore amene kum jo penni e bini Favour FM ruata ki management kakare bero kare pe in no mateko twal mi bolu bore atwal men pe yupman we rotuma be well nen mafut pia gwak jam kana duri abor Willie Max makamegi ijera bira boro deka bora deka ria deka biro no jera bira beach deka jera beach ngana boro beach enena machi maditwolo la window dio might very very care no meti kere anytime from now we'll actually be going for the third debate Miracle Berikin Riverside Kidum Bene Gulu Central Junior unless otherwise no gwakala motie. Hello Favour FM. Hello. Afoy bene manga.
Ade mar we di ke wakere. Learning the mom one was one of your secondary go me our over here.
By the way, make you chalk.
Wow, me on the schools will give a good work on.
I yell American pere.
I have forever.
For your take 12 and secondary make it chalk my take 12 and actually be hearing and of course men from secondary school and no me rabenegon betka any men benekanene or talking battling out men in level maka megi dore jera bira bora deka boro. Willie, please take it over.
Thank you very much, Simon. I will also pass forward to the adjudicators.
Thank you very much, our dear listeners and debaters and everybody. In the morning when we started, for those who have been listening to Favour FM from the time we started, I made an earlier communication that today's pairing, number one, was a random pairing that was done by Excel spreadsheet. It was commanded what is called power pairing. Results from the first debate on Saturday was the one which was used as a yardstick to pair the debaters today. So it was just a commanded power pairing. Nobody decided. It was just commanded that teams within this range and teams within this range be paired together. So that is how we have the pairing. Now there are teams that came a little late, and you already found your opponents have already picked their sides. The picking of the side, that was just your own fair toss, but the pairing to know the school the team you're going to meet was done randomly with a system called power pairing in the Excel spreadsheet. For those who understand that will get it. Now, there are teams that are requesting for their results so that they can know their fate. Unfortunately, the last preliminary round in every debate is always a blind round. A blind round in a way that we don't give feedback and we don't give you results. So today, the listeners are the ones giving out the results. They are the ones giving out their comments. Results will be announced next week on Saturday at 8:30 a.m. from Radio Favour. And I want to say that even the staff of Radio Favour, who are the organizers of this debate, will not have access to these results. The results will be confined within the 3 judges. So come prepared on Saturday to debate on the quarter-finals if you believe you have won. But results will be released on Saturday, not today. The ones who have debated today, you can go home and wait for Saturday. But you can also feel free to listen to other debates from here or even from your schools. Otherwise, let us kick off with the next debate, that is between Riverside on the proposition and Gulu Central Junior on the opposition. Meanwhile, I expect Eagle Nazarian Primary School and Labor Line to be around the corner preparing. Thank you. Thank you. Can we have the Honorable Ruot Omia Daniel? The floor is yours.
Honorable jurors of this day's controversy, fellow debaters, pursue the audience. My name is Honorable Omia Daniel from Riverside Renaissance Primary School. As the first time, we have been confronted by the topic at hand. This house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Allow me define some of the keywords. Poverty index. This is the statistical measure used to quantify the extent of poverty within a population. Poor leadership. This is when the leaders are not performing their obligation to meet people's needs. As the first affirmative, allow me lay down what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about land disputes, laziness, discrimination, and corruption. Allow me begin with land disputes. When you talk of land disputes, this is where you find 2 people that are fighting for the same land. For example, you are going to find a leader coming to grab a community land. For example, he's going to come and start saying that land is mine, or he's going to sponsor someone to come and grab the land, while the leader is the one sponsoring him to come and grab the land, while they are using money to give him and to come and grab the land. And it's going to be leading to this. That person is going to come and be killing people. When you kill a person can be having a family, and the family is going to just stay there where they are helpless. You make it like the head of a family, and the family is going to become poor. When the family becomes poor, this is why I'm saying that this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Before I leave this, allow me quote this. According to a 2022 report from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, UBOS, 63.3% of the people in Acholi sub-region were living under poverty. This is the reason why I'm saying that these leaders, even they cannot see anything to reduce poverty. They're the one causing poverty in our sub-region. When they don't work hard to reduce poverty, the poverty rate will not decrease, but will just increase. allow me make a step and talk about laziness. When talk about laziness, this is when this a situation where a person is unwilling to work. These leaders of ours, they are very lazy. You will find a leader is going to the council and is going to come back. He's going to get some money to come and provide to the people, but for him, it's just going to be sitting under it. He's going to be keeping that money in his or her own home. It's going to be just developing their home, not developing any. You will find at their home, they're going to be rich, but the neighbors are going to be very poor, and that one can lead to poverty. They can give a leader the man of PDM, but it's not going to divide it to people. PDM is parish development model, and the leader is going to be keeping that money to provide needs at his or her own home. And when this money is not provided to the people of Acholi, they're not going to even get position to buy seeds. Even if they have land for farming, they're not going to get any. They're not going to get any support from the leaders to practice their own work. So, honorable judges, this is the reason why I'm saying that this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. So, our second speaker is going to talk about land. Is going to talk about discrimination and corruption. Since there's a saying which says, "Birds with the same feather flock together." So you opposers come on. So you opposers, you come on our side and we work together. We're saying that this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Allow me perorate here by saying that these leaders should be blamed because for them they cannot focus on reducing poverty. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Daniel. Allow us then have the Honorable Adokaraj Sande Pasca. The floor is yours.
Special thanks goes to the table of the adjudicators, the 2x2 competing parties, and not forgetting you, the audience. Our motion for today's debate states that this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I, Adora Sande Pascal from Gulu Central Junior School, Lalia, I have come to oppose the motion by saying this house will not tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I, as the first speaker from the opposition side, I will refute the points of my opponents, define the key words, distribute roles, state the parameter, state the current situation, and lay out my area of argument. Adjudicators, allow me start by defining the key words. Poverty is a state of having inadequate basic needs. Leadership is a state of having the authority to guide and rule other people. Adjudicators, allow me to distribute the roles. I, as the first speaker, will talk about misuse of drugs. The second speaker will talk about illiteracy and culture. Meanwhile, the third speaker is to refute, rebuild, and weigh the debate. Adjudicators, allow me state the parameter for today's debate. The parameter for today's debate is Acholi sub-region. Allow me also to state the current situation. Currently, poverty remains a significant challenge in northern Uganda. According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, UBOS, the poverty rate has worsened over the past 12 months, with 23.9% of households classified as chronically poor. This poverty is believed to be caused by multiple factors like illiteracy, corruption, inappropriate methods of farming, lack of market, and also poor leadership, among others. Adjudicators, allow me to refute the point stated by my opponent. The first speaker talked about land dispute. Our leaders are innocent. How will it cause poverty if a leader is fighting? Even these leaders know laws. So why should we blame leaders? We should not blame our leaders. Even he talked about laziness. If our leaders are lazy, were they going to construct for us road, public schools? So let us stop blaming leaders. Adjudicators, allow me to talk about misuse of drugs. Leaders are not responsible for the poverty in Acholi sub-region. It is the misuse of drugs that is responsible for the poor state of the people in Acholi sub-region. Not that the people of Acholi are poor. It is the way they use their money, taking alcohol most hours of the day.
Point of information.
It's allowed.
So about that, inform you that I heard you saying that these leaders are not responsible for the poverty. Now who is responsible for poverty in the Acholi sub-region?
Our leaders are not responsible because they are constructing for us schools. Even they're constructing for us roads. Do you want the leaders to carry your children from home and take to the schools? Adjudicators, allow me to show this evidence. It is quoted from the Daily Monitor of Monday, May 2026, which reads, alarming, Uganda's youth, the largest voting bloc, are increasing, drawn into a culture of cheap, accessible alcohol with limited opportunities and idle time. Adjudicators, for more clarification, have this. Too much taking of alcohol affects saving and investing money in profitable projects. Too much taking of alcohol also leads to loss of jobs. Too much taking of alcohol also wastes a lot of time that could have been used doing profitable work. All this sum to the animals you are calling poverty in Acholi sub-region. It is not necessarily leaders. It is not necessarily leaders. Another misuse of drugs is in the use of toxic drugs like cocaine, marijuana, and the funny list that most youth call it Mera, if I am to quote. The Mera has become like wildfire to the Acholi people. The youth spend the whole day chewing the Mera, not involving themselves in productive work. If I am to ask this question, are the leaders the one buying the cocaine, marijuana, alcohol for the youth? Then why should we blame leaders? It is the misuse of drugs that is responsible for the poverty in Acholi sub-region. Remember that even this misuse of drugs have health implications. It causes lung cancer and other sicknesses that causes weaknesses to the body that make you too weak to do work and earn money to chase poverty. Even treating you alone will drain the family's money. As I conclude, I advise you to stop blaming leaders, avoid drug misuse, and save your money to chase poverty. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Adokorach. Sunday Pascal Allah has then have the Honorable Luba Kenneth Solomon.
Distinguished judges, worthy opponents, and attentive audience, good morning. My name is Honorable Ruben Kenneth Solomon from Riverside Ray Nasaran Primary School. Thank you for this opportunity, and let us delve into the topic at hand, which reads, this house will tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable jurists and the listeners, before I move straight to our length of argument, allow me to tackle something very brief in our opponent points, whereby the first speaker said that talked about misuse of drugs. But when we talk about misuse of drugs, whereby she said that cocaine, she talked about cocaine, mira, and then marijuana. When we are to see these drugs here, these drugs, the way she was putting it, it was right. But let me inform you, these drugs here, if the leaders were serious, they would have prevented from entering our region. But since they are not serious and they are very lazy, they don't want to prevent it, and they want Acholi sub-region to just be undeveloping.
Point of information to the current speaker, is it allowed?
Please wait, I will call you later. And I love the way she was putting it. She said that all these are caused by poor leadership, of which I think she was coming to sit near us. So thank you for giving us more points, because we are lacking points. Thank you for that. So before I move further, she asked also a question that, are the leaders buying those cocaine, marijuana, and mira? To my answer, I think is yes. Because why are they allowing those drugs to enter in our region if they are not just in need of killing our people? Point of information accepted.
much as you're trying to claim that the leaders are the one buying. Stop, 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 stop blaming our leaders. Our leaders are not the one buying those drugs there. If they were buying, they would have given to old people, not only the youth.
Thank you for your information, but I think that is what you're just saying to satisfy your need. Let me now bring you to the truth. These leaders here, when they accepted those drugs to enter our sub-region, you will find that, because we know very well that leaders are people who does not accept any danger to his or her people. Now, when he or she accepted those drugs to enter our sub-region, we will be knowing that those drugs are useful and they can help. You will find at the end that we are now taking drugs, of which that one is also leading to what we call defilement of, because we know that when our brain is put up, we can do anything that we think can satisfy our needs. But when these leaders are unserious, I think they're going to kill our region called Acholi, and they're going to kill the Acholi people. So, allow me move straight to my length of argument. Let me begin with corruption. Honorable jurists, when we talk about corruption, we say that corruption, this is a dishonesty conduct by those in powers. When we say those in powers, it is just take us straight to leaders. When we are to see these leaders are too corrupt. In which way? In the way that when they are providing money, like there's something called PDM, or which it is Paris Development Motto, which when they're dividing those money, it is like they have given 10 million to go and divide to Acholi people, you will find that the leaders is picking some money to go and provide with the clan members. I think that is already corruption. And when they are applying for jobs, the leaders will involve all the family members in the position that they are applying. But you will find that other people are not involved in the job. But we know very well that when we are educated and we have finished our education, we need to get some work. But when we go to these leaders here, they are going to start saying that people now are enough. But the leader will be knowing from his or her mind that people are not yet enough. So I need to involve all my family members, all my clan members, and I think that is not right. That one is what we call corruption. And how can you refuse a person to do work and get money? Maybe he or she was planning for the family. That after doing this work, I think my children will study the way I study. I think my children, in future, they will be a great passion, which is respectful. I think that is right. But you will find this leader denying us. Honorable jurists, I love how our speaker was putting it, whereby he talked on land dispute. He said that you will find leaders making people to fight on the same land. In which way now? You will find that a leader is accepting people to fight. What if, let us assume that a man is in need of some land. If he starts saying that, okay, I remember this is the land of my ancestor, and of which they will start bringing what we call land dispute. After fighting, thank you, I do on your table. After fighting now, you will find the leaders accepting. And maybe the leader also is in need of that land. We just say that, you go. When they take you to court, I'm going to pick you out of the court. I think that is already what we call corruption, and that is causing land dispute. Who is now causing the land dispute, if I'm to ask the question? It is the leaders, because why are you accepting the community members to fight on the same land? I think that is not right, honorable jurists and the listeners. Allow me to escape from there and talk about discrimination. When we talk about discrimination, this is unfair treatment of people. You will find that leaders, when they have given money, like honorable jurists, I do on a table. Allow me to stop here, saying that says, if a man deceive you once, shame on him. If twice, shame on you. So, honorable jurists, don't let this opposite side come here and start deceiving you. Otherwise, shame will be on you. Thank you.
And since there says we says never trouble till the trouble you. I will not continue troubling till the trouble me. And I think I request my speaker to come and continue troubling until the trouble my opponents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We shall not allow to be deceived. We shall not be deceived. Otherwise, thank you very much. May we have the Honorable Lamar Faith.
Special thanks goes to the table of the adjudicators. The 2x2 competing parties are not forgetting you, the audience. Our motion for today's debate states that this House will tie high actual poverty index to poor leadership. I am by the name Lamar Faith from Gul Central Junior School earlier. I have come to oppose the motion by saying that this House will not tie high actual poverty index to poor leadership. I, as the second speaker from the opposition side, I will refute the point stated by my opponent and rebuild the point stated by my colleague. Adjudicators, first of all, allow me to start by refuting the point stated by my opponent. He made mention about corruptions, that our leaders are very corrupt. But it's not true. Our leaders are not corrupt. If our leaders were corrupt, were they going to build for us the public schools? Were they going to build for us the hospitals? Stop blaming leaders. Our leaders are innocent. You are meaning that the leaders are providing the PDM like if the government gives 10 million, they corrupt it. But let me tell you that there's also underfunding by the government. Do you want the leader to pull his or her money, and yet even he or she has the family to care for? Adjudicators, allow me to rebuild a point stated by my colleague. She talked about misuse of drugs. It is true that the leaders are not responsible for poverty at all. It is the misuse of drugs that is responsible for poverty in Acholi sub-region.
Point of information.
Instead, they are trying with that level best to reduce poverty.
Point of information.
Introducing the agriculture of growing cash crops.
Point of information.
Evidence to this is quoted from the New Vision of Monday, May 19, 2024, which reads, Government embarks on northern Uganda massive coffee growing, shilling 60 billion earmarked for massive coffee planting in northern Uganda. The government plans to distribute 750 million coffee seedlings in the next financial year. You can see that with this evidence, it is useless to blame our leaders. Adjudicators, for more clarification, you can have this.
Point of information.
Allowed.
Honorable Speaker, I heard you saying that these people that are here, they're the one responsible for this drug misuse. But now, who are responsible for these imports and exports?
These leaders are putting strict laws, but our people are very rigid. They don't want to follow those strict laws. Adjudicators, allow me to talk about illiteracy. Instead of blaming our leaders, let us blame the illiteracy of the people in the Acholi region. This has been caused by very many factors. For example, the Corn War, poverty, early marriage, and inadequate school facilities. But these days, you can see that our leaders are building schools. Evidence to this, it's quoted from the Daily Monitor of Tuesday, July the 8th, 2025, which reads, Museveni insists on free education in government schools. These are government initiatives aimed at providing free education to all Ugandan children at the primary and secondary level. Launched in 1997, UPE aims to provide free and compulsory primary education to all children. The main objective of UPE is to increase access to primary education and reduce disparities based on economic status, gender, or other factors. For more clarification, have a look at adjudicators. Adjudicators, allow me to talk about culture. The Acholi community have that culture, of which some of this culture discourages work and education, of which some of this culture, there is a belief that discourages education for a certain group of people. For example, girls' education being taken as a waste of time. If a girl is not educated and has not got good paying job in the future, are you going to chase poverty? Not only that, adjudicators. In Acholi traditionally, we practice subsistence farming as our ways of survival. Can this practice chase poverty? Why can't we resume to cash economy by growing cash crops that will chase poverty and keep big herds of cattle? So it is unfair and so simplistic to blame our leaders. Our leaders are innocent. Therefore, I conclude by saying this House will not tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Lamar Faith. Allow us then have the Honorable Gum Felix.
Honorable judges, my fellow debaters, and the audience, good afternoon. I am Gunfelix Cyrus, and I'm here to urge in favor of the motion as it reads. This House will tie high actually poverty index to poor leadership. But before I go far, I heard our opponent speaking on drug misuse, whereby they say that this drug misuse here, it is encouraged by the youth. But all of us know that these drugs here, they are brought by the leaders because they're the one in charge of this export and imports. They're the one bringing these drugs in Acholi sub-region, and all that's what is leading to drug misuse. So you don't blame our people, but you blame the leaders because they are the one in charge of those things. They're not stop there. They went and they talk on. But before they went there, they first asked us that the leaders are the leaders the one buying Mera and other drugs. No, but we know that it is their role to prevent those things from coming in Acholi sub-region. But they're just allowing it and they're bringing it. Overnight it will be in the market, and this youth there will think that it is good because the leaders have accepted it to come. So don't come and deceive us because we know that it is these leaders here in charge of this imports and exports. Honorable judges, they want to talk on culture, but how can this culture here lead to poverty? We know that this culture here, it is just these cultural practices which are just important, which can belong to a tribe. But it is not that the actually people are using that culture to lead and leading them to poverty. That is not true. Stop deceiving the room. Honorable judges, I like that my friends were putting it. They talked on land disputes. This is very true. Sometimes you will find that these people here, you find that these leaders here, they're just encouraging land disputes in Acholi sub-region. Sometimes even they be themselves practicing it, and you know that when a person is a member of parliament, you cannot manage to compete with him because he's having money. Even can manage to buy the police, and you will not even manage to win it because now he will be able to do anything with he wants, and he can manage to take your land, and that will lead to poverty. They went and they talked on laziness. These leaders I was here, they're very lazy. In a way that you find that instead of going and talking for the people of Acholi to love some goods and bring them into the sub-region, they will not do it. But sometimes even they may go and deceive the government, they get the money, sometimes they come and they use it for their own. Honorable judges, see there's a saying which says, call a spade, but not a big spoon. If you go and check on these leaders of ours, you will never find any of them which is thin, they're all fat and they're all having big stomachs. Honorable judges, they made a step and they talk on corruption. This is very good. Honorable judges, these leaders of us here, they're too corrupt. In a way that you find that sometimes the government may give them money, PDM, to come and divide it, but even they will give them their own salary. They will come with that salary there, and they will divide the other money of PDM so that they can be having equal money. But you know that this PDM here is to provide the community and the community to develop. But again, they're cutting some and they're using it for their own benefits. Then others are not corruption. And they're telling us that these leaders of us here, they're not corrupt. What proves you? Honorable judges, as my second speaker was going to talk on discrimination, but because of time, he stopped there. These leaders of ours here, they're discriminating, whereby you find that sometimes they may give them money to come and to provide to the people, but instead they'll go and provide it to their own clan members. And now will this not lead to poverty? Only their clan will become rich, but now what of other clans? Honorable judges, if you think I'm lying, let you go and check in the past, whereby you find that there are too many people there dying and they're even losing their families and losing their lives. So with this one is causing to poverty. Honorable judges, allow me cut short my tale while saying that this house will tie high actually poverty index to poor leadership.
Thank you, Honorable, for cutting down the tail. Allow me then have the final speaker from the opposition side, the Honorable Onen Stephen.
Special thanks go to the table of the adjudicators. The two competing parties are not forgetting you, the
laziness. The leaders are not lazy. The leaders only want the people to develop. The leaders are encouraging people to grow crops. But the people do not want. The people are very lazy.
Point
The
of
people of Acholi
information.
only practice subsistence farming. Learners were studying in gear and classroom windows were left open, where in case they hear any funny noise like a gunshot, the children could jump from the window. Not only that, poverty stemmed largely from trauma, broken institutions and disrupted education and livelihoods, but not simply bad leadership. An educated and illiterate person cannot obviously chase poverty in a Acholi sub-region.
Point of information.
I honor the educators. The second speaker also talked about culture.
Point of
People
information.
it's allowed. People have very many cultures. People have very many cultures, so we some contribute highly to poverty in Acholi sub-region. There is also culture of discrimination and biasness which affect employment of people. I honor the educators. Allow me to conclude here by saying this source will not tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. As I conclude, I would advise the House to not oversimplify on leaders by zeroing. It is historical, political, and structural factors. So I would like to conclude here by saying this source will never tie Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the opposition whip. Allow us then have the reply speaker from team opposition, please. Thank you.
Once more, thanks goes to the table of the adjudicators. The 2 by 2 competing parties are not forgetting you, the audience. Our motion for today's debate states that this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. But we were opposing by saying that this house will not tie high Acholi poverty
land dispute, but I heard the speaker saying that they refute. But I think that is not right because even you did not touch anything on it. And even you don't know the meaning of land dispute because you did not even touch anything. When we were talking about land dispute, you were just like supporting us, of which I was very happy. Thank you for that. And we talk about laziness, whereby you say that the community are the one lazy. But you say that the community are the one lazy, and yet the leaders are the ones supposed to bring for us new and good crop for planting. But for planting, but you will find that the leaders are just staying but reluctant, which is very bad. And we escaped and talked about corruption, but they say that they refute. I think they did not refute because they know there's no one in our region which carry out corruption apart from the leaders. Because we know very well that they are the very people who receive money from the government, and after receiving, they use it as their own money for their family. I think that they did not refute it. And they try to talk about culture, but I think when we talk about culture, culture does not depend on this motion here because leaders are not the one to promote the culture, but community, as they know that they have to promote their culture, they will be practicing what we call traditional dances, traditional songs, of which all of us here we know what our cultures are. But you will find that some of the leaders are stopping this culture of ours. They will start saying that you stop this one and you come here. When you started dancing this traditional dance, I will arrest you and take you to the prison. Oh, which that is spoiling our culture. I think all of you, you know that this can happen in other part. And we say that when they have corrupted the money, allow me to end up here by saying that, by saying this house will tie high actually poverty index to poor leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable, please. Thank you for a wonderful debate. May you have your handshake. And then, meanwhile, we wait for reply from our listeners. May we have Eagle Nazarene Primary School in the proposition and Lebaline Primary School in the opposition. Please.
Ego and Lebaline, please come and take your seats in the debate room here. Meanwhile, Simon, I'm getting back to your studio so that you can be able to interact with those who are following us.
Thank you, Willie. Jera bira bora deka ria deka biran jera bira bicha deka jera bira mwana bora bicha bich enena machi marituro la winario it ver bere kere medikere eno bero ki debate na kosa mia deke ikin Riverside ka jeli gulu Central Junior it ver bere kere min falme tama kamegi kin madi bere bere kero amekar kere kin schools ario enoni man Favour FM primary school debate mainoni menotini genma lotian dekane enet falmen no chan matia julini no ni meno chi malope ki rutela mapabe alo Favour FM.
Yes, Simon, chini
Ana timabe.
Wani Bob yerni ko tile.
Yes, Bob.
Mati we debate palotina tika lopana right from the beginning na chani. America ma kiel bana kita dere down to the foil team ni watu ma bring the team and gas tum bara la foil kong the respected teachers kakela kiel malo team na kingi.
Yeah.
They are really doing a lot of things and wonders to the children. And America report on and you're getting most of the schools, if not all, then should be in most of the schools in northern Uganda. Cover poor Palestine wala.
Tamabe foil matakatwa. Okay. Alo Favour FM. Jera bira bora deka rio deka biro de jera bira bicha deka jera bicha puna boro bicha Favour FM alo.
Hello.
Afoy madam manga.
Yeah, someone this is Genesis person.
Yes, Genesis, you're most welcome.
No ne lo teno lo mo be. Tal mo be ko kom mo ke be supporting no tela marachi bor to tela. Kere jana chore ne. If I gave them at least a green light. Because in my own view, ni to tela ye tika kelo chan madit to dare chore. Guana boy me la bole kom guana. Yang so no tike guana bo. mai pero o mahapa mahangwen no kuto charata her kom kar go bichel no guana to ko makun lo tela tia we of that and they were supporting it kanu ne ginu ge be no mergi kwe mi ko maraja ne to bin boro kan
Afoya matek Genesis. Okay, I'm going to tampa Genesis. Hello, Favour FM debate.
Hello.
Hello.
Akoy mate.
Ana Foya Benemanga.
Sino ki Josephine. Don't.
Yes, Josephine.
Ati ke awero mo. Akai neno amita for mate debate mate ti me favor. Koy mate ni favor ki jo. Do you think ki favor ke mate hada? Normal tena wati ti mnene kima be. Kawa neno magid mati actually submission ni due to tela. Tela tima raja dada ilo actually yo tima right as I know the corruption tima no. Kadi besi di government team yo government itself ki corrupt dada ma ano ni fair magid mati di actually be tela ma right.
Afoy Josephine.
Koy mate.
Okay, Mena Josephine all the way from Aware, Homeland, Moteka Bini Komunduju, Amoti Aware kind of way, Mateko 12, Kona Ting Tego, the T12 meaning Degnam, and of course the T12 men Taulam, Kenyo, Moteka Bini Komo, for Mateko 12. Willie, singing on me if you're ready to go?
Yes. My able adjudicators need some more minutes. Sir.
Then I also need one more call.
All right.
Hello, Favour FM. Ana Foya Bene.
Era polo pena magati di bene en matin. Ya polo Favour de twal pe ya poangwa. Ano mi achule no peyo.
Yeah.
Kone wen me wa dwa wilo tel pen lo tel wari pepe. Man si per sound pe en ki ore kara ne se. Era ne kara ma tir la.
Afoya. Okay. Hello, Favour FM.
Hello.
Willie, back to you. So I'm cutting another call. Willie?
Yes.
Please.
I thought you were speaking to someone else. But just so we can save our time on the podium now is Igor. That is going to be debating with Leveline Primary School. And at this point of time, please allow me to send it back to the table of the judges.
Thank you, Willie Max. Let me invite the first speaker from the proposers. Honorable Anton Dennings, you're welcome.
Warm greetings to the adjudicators and House at large. Our motion for today says, this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I would like to define the motion. With the motion says, this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Secondly, I would define the keywords. House, a group of people discussing something in a formal debate. Will, used for talking about or predicting the future. Tie, to link something or be linked to something. High, greater than the normal or expected in amount or degree. Acholi, an ethnic group native to the northern Uganda, primarily residing in Acholi sub-region. Poverty is a situation in which a person is poor even when they get jobs because the money received from the government is reduced. Index is a statistical measure or tracking data. 2 is in direction of relationship between two things. Poor, not having enough money for basic needs. Leadership is a state of position of being a leader. Thirdly, I would also like to explain the roles of my speakers. The second speaker will refute, rebuttal, do reply speech, make the opponent's points invalid. The third speaker will weigh the debate, win the debate, summarize the debate, rebuttal, speaks for every member of the team. Thirdly, dear judges, the perimeter of the motion is Acholi. I should state the meaning of the motion, and the meaning of the motion is poverty index causing poor leadership. Honorable judges, worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen, Today we gather to debate a pressing issue that has disturbed Acholi sub-region for far too long. The proposition team strongly believes that the high index of poverty is directly linked to many causes of poverty. Here are our points: corruption, ineffectiveness of leaders, selfish interest. Corruption means is a embezzlement of public funds. For example, nepotism, bribery, ineffectiveness of leaders. When leaders do not work expectedly, selfish interest, when you see your own benefit. Dear judges, as per seriousness poverty is, let me bring into your notice with the status of poverty. Acholi has a poverty rate of 68%, one of the highest in Uganda compared to the national estimate of 47%. Fellow debaters, if Acholi sub-region has a poverty rate of 68% and the national estimate of 47%, how do you think the people in Acholi sub-region are living? Dear judges, it has come to my notice that the latest Uganda Bureau of Statistics report indicates that Acholi sub-region has the fourth highest number of people living in poverty at 20.5%. Dear judges, as per seriousness poverty is, help me in stopping poverty to save the people in Acholi sub-region. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Let me invite the Honorable Lake Neska, the first speaker from the opposition side. You're welcome.
Honorable adjudicators, worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lake Neska. I am from Development Primary School. It's a pleasure to have the motion that says this house would tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, I am opposing this motion to state the ball rolling as the first speaker, as the first leader of opposition. Allow me to start by stating the perimeter of this debate. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, the perimeter of this debate is Acholi sub-region. Our status quo for this debate is poverty in Acholi is deeply rooted in historical conflicts, displacement and exclusion, rather than poor leadership, and also external factors like climate change, global market fluctuation, and epidemic also impact the regional's economy and poverty level. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, currently leaders of Acholi face significant challenges due to limited resources, inadequate funding, and dynamic strings, and we can't singly blame leaders that are not doing enough. Honorable adjudicators, as the first speaker from proposition talked about corruption, no, it's not corruption, because other areas in Acholi have underground resources that if people are not listeners can mine and get, and also like some leaders are not paid. Government do delay to pay leaders their salary, so might have problem at home and use the money. And that is not called corruption. They are using to construct roads.
Information is it allowed?
Not allowed. Honorable adjudicators, as the first speaker, allow me to state our team's cases. That is, historical and structural factors, external factors beyond leadership's control, community resilience or poverty, laziness. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rebuild on our first point, that is, historical and structural factors. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, the high Acholi poverty index cannot be solely attributed to poor leadership due to historical and structural factors.
Point of information is
not allowed. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, the Acholi region faced decades of conflicts, displacement, and instability.
Point of information is allowed.
Allowed.
Honorable, you say that when they have given money to the leaders have problem at home. But do you think if you go and sit in the parliament, they will give you your salary and you're happy that they have given you because you just sat in the parliament so that people see how you have dressed?
But are they not constructing for us roads, schools? Are they not constructing? They are constructing, and that is not corruption. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, the Acholi sub-region faced decades of conflicts, displacement and instability which have had a long-lasting impact on the economy and infrastructures. Furthermore, structural barriers such as limited access to education, healthcare, and job opportunities perpetuate poverty. For example, the Lord's-resistance army conflicts in the region led to widespread displacement, loss of lives, and infrastructure destruction, which are beyond leadership's control. Like, look at this title, Lord-Resistance Army, and compare with Honorable Olana Gilbert to go and fight against those people. But he's trying his level best to try to fight against those people. Is he not doing enough for the people of Acholi sub-region? He's doing enough. Additionally, the region's limited access to quality education and health hinders human capital development. Given these historical and structural factors, it's unfair to tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. The motion oversimplifies the issue and ignores the complexities of poverty to poor leadership in the region. So we as team opposition, we will not be misled and deceived by saying it's poor leadership. We request you to consider broader context and the various factors contributing to poverty. Conclusively, allow me to inform the team proposition that effective poverty reduction requires a comprehensive approach to address these underlying issues we team opposition have raised, but not putting a mere tie on poor leadership. Let's work towards a more thoughtful understanding of poverty and develop solutions that address its root causes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Second speaker from proposer side, Honorable Aloyo Tasha. You're most welcome.
Thank you, the chairperson, secretary, timekeeper, and you, the audience, not forgetting about the two competing chambers. Our motion for today reads, this house will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I am proposing this motion. Let me start by crashing down the points of my opponents. As Honorable say, mining. Honorable, the first speaker from the opposition side. Do you think everyone have that technology to go and mine? Not everyone have that technology. And also you talk about roads, that the government are constructing roads. Honorable, I'm advising you to first go and tourist near the roundabout in Custom Corner going to Lacho Hospital. You will see the way the roads are too bad. Our opponents may argue that good leadership can reduce poverty rate, but we argue that this is overlooking of issues. Poverty in Acholi requires a multifaceted approach that address the root causes of poverty, including lack of access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Let me go straight to my point. I am going to talk about corruption. Examples, we have government hospitals, but the government hospitals, if you take any patient, the doctor will first request for some money in order to treat your patient. And if that is a government hospital, it's a free of charge hospital. And also, you go and take you first go and take your time, take any patient for a surgery. The doctor will say, if you want me to treat your patient, first give me some money, then I'll help you in treating your patient. Yet, at the end of the month, they are giving them a huge amount of salary that they don't care about the people. If you are poor, how will you afford to give the money that the doctor has requested for? And your patient will be dying. That is corruption. And also, it was evident the Acholi Paramount Chief has blamed the current disunity among the members of the APG and on greed and selfishness. Leaders are so selfish. They only think about them and their family members, and they don't ask for people's opinion. That's why you see they go and sit in the parliament. They don't know what to say because they don't ask for people's opinion. Since election is coming, you will see leaders coming to greet everything. Even me, they used not to greet me, but I've seen them greeting me nowadays. even they don't want to read the village. And if the villagers are the same people voting for them, but they go and just sit in the parliament, their sister, oh brother, we say, there's a burial, oh, a wedding, they need you to come here. You will give such complaints as, my sister, I'm very sorry, I'm outside the country, yet you're just sitting in the parliament because now you're getting huge amount of money. No, you don't want to go and visit your villagers. You want us to be suffering in poverty, yet you have to be a good leader and you're showing bad examples. They do not ask for what people want. If you do not ask for what we want, do you think next time we shall vote you if you don't ask for what we want? Be a good leader like the way I am a good leader. It was evident Mr. Achana while delivering his New Year's message, he observed that while the leaders in Acholi are divided, the leaders in Lango sub-region are united. They resent meeting and resolve their own problems. I agree with this motion. Leaders are too lazy. Like here, the leaders here, they are too selfish. Even they don't care about us who voted for them. Yeah, nowadays you see the leaders. You see let me summarize. You see the leaders coming to us, giving us some money. Because they think for us we like money so much, but let me inform them that we don't like money so much. They will start giving us, first go and buy this one with sweet, as the children. First go and buy this one with sweet. Go and tell these people to vote me. Yet if you go there, you forget of us. Do you think we shall vote you? No. We urge the adjudicators to consider the overwhelming evidence and declare that the House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Thanks.
Thank you so much. May I invite Honorable Ginamira Rita from the negatives.
Honorable adjudicators, worthy opponents, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Gramia Rita. I am here to represent Level Line Primary School. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start by refuting what the second speaker from the affirmative side said. He said that's corruption. Allow me to ask you, are all leaders corrupt? Compare Gulu to Lira, and you see the roads. When you were coming here, you see the roads we walked through. They were really good. And you're saying that the leaders are corrupt. No, the leader is not corrupt.
Point of POI.
Not allowed. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to reveal on our second point that was earlier on outlined by our first leader of opposition side, and that is external factors beyond local leadership's control. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, the high actually poverty index is also influenced by external factors beyond local leadership's control. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, global economic trends, climate change and regional instability impact the Acholi's economy and poverty levels. For example, fluctuation and commodity prices. Do you even know the meaning of fluctuation? No, you don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, fluctuation is the gradual increase and decrease in the prices of commodities. This affects the agricultural production. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, climate change has led to drought and floods, impacting crop yields on food security. Additionally, regional instability disrupts trade and investment, further triggering poverty index. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, given these external factors, it is unfair to attribute poverty wholly to poor leadership. This means that this motion ignores the significant role of global and regional forces in shaping the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, team proposition might argue that leadership should mitigate these external factors, but we would counter that local leadership has limited control over global economic trends and climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, effective poverty reduction requires a deep understanding of these external factors and collaborative efforts to address them. Honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to talk about laziness. They talked about laziness. No, this is not laziness.
Point of information
not
is
allowed. Not allowed. You say that the leaders are lazy. Not the leaders are lazy.
Point of information is allowed.
Not allowed. the leaders are lobbying for the PDM funds, but our very own peoples are too lazy that they cannot use the money for PDM, that 1 million well. You see, instead of
Point of information
not
is allowed.
Our very own peoples, that 1 million, instead of using it to start their small natural agricultural businesses to their entities, they will not. Instead of using the money for their agricultural entities, they will use the money for buying clothes, drinks, and they will not bother. And that's why are you saying that it's still leaders? Why are you blaming leaders? Leaders has nothing to do with poor leadership. As I conclude, I would like to tell
Point of
people
information
not
is allowed.
As I conclude,
Point of information
not
is allowed.
Not allowed. As I conclude, I would like to tell Team Preparation to stop.
Point of information
Not
is
allowed.
allowed.
As I conclude, I would like to tell Team Preparation to stop this falsity of tying Acholi poverty index to poor leadership, and we work under the same umbrella saying Acholi poverty index has nothing
Point
to
of
do with
information
poor
is
leadership.
allowed.
Thank you. I rest my case.
Thank you so much, Honorable Rita. Allow me invite Honorable Joshua Omara from the affirmative side. Honorable Joshua Omara.
Warm greeting goes to the Honorable Chairperson, Timekeeper, Judge, Secretary, plus you, the audience, not forgetting with the two competing parties. Our motion for tonight is, this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. This motion is written 100% correctly. Before going to my points, allow me crash down my opponent's point. She said that good roads. Honorable, if you are to go at the road there of Gulu Referral Hospital, it's very bad. It's very bad. People don't even go there because the road is very bad, leading to poverty. Also there, in Gulu Referral Hospital, there is nothing completely that you can get as a medical service. Because moreover, even a government hospital, do you think that people in Acholi sub-region are happy? Not allowed. Our opponents may claim that poverty in Acholi sub-region is caused by factors beyond leaders' control, such as ignorance, illiteracy, laziness, high taxes, climate. However, we agree that effective leadership can control the challenges and create opportunities for economic growth. I am standing strongly to prove that poor leadership is the one causing poverty in Acholi sub-region. Inactive leaders. When a leader is lazy, do you think that the place will develop? Do you think that anything good will be happy? Do you think that anybody will be happy? Like in my area, leaders are very lazy that they don't even bother to look after their people after elections. They will only be thinking of their power and their family members.
POI.
Not allowed. When after the elections, they will just go and be sitting there with big stomachs inside their office. And then, like the chairperson, local council one, if there's anything like land boundaries, and then people are quarreling seriously, the person will be that, let me just sit here, those people there, they can do their things. So if that often is granted.
Honorable, you talked about laziness. Let me put for you, for example, like Honorable Lanya Gilbert. Is it too lazy that is not doing enough for the people of Acholi sub-region?
Honorable, let me inform you that one person like this cannot do anything. And then also when now they are oftenly called, every time they are calling them, so they would think of a complaint. I have been where there's no network. I have been far away from Gulu. And then suddenly they may come and find them at home. And then you also know people don't have same minds. They don't think the same. They might end up beating him or her, leading to his death. leaving his family in poverty, and the person who bet him will also be arrested, leaving the family in poverty. In some districts in Acholi sub-region, income from the government in help in the people. In some districts in Acholi sub-region, income from the government to help the people is always sent back after the end of financial years, because leaders have not been able to use the money due to inactiveness, leading to poverty because the public do not get what they are supposed to get. This is also seen in families where fathers are idle and leaders of the family. Therefore, poverty destroys the family due to poor leadership. The government distributes seed and seedlings to the Acholi people, but because of poor leadership, agriculture is not supported. We have seen seedlings and seeds getting granted. We have seen seedlings and seeds getting destroyed and expired just because of leaders do not distribute to the Acholi people as a result of inactive leadership. In my conclusion, our opponents have failed to provide a convincing argument that poverty in Acholi is caused by factors beyond the control of leaders. We urge the adjudicators to consider the overwhelming evidence and declare that the House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. I don't have much to say. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Honorable Joshua. Let us have the last speaker, that is Honorable Adong Vanessa from the Negators.
Honorable member of the House, worthy opponents, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Adong Vanessa. I am from Lebanon Primary School. I am here to oppose the motion which says this House will tie high Acholi poverty index to poor leadership. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen, I will start by refuting what the first speaker from the affirmative said, that is corruption. The first speaker from the affirmative said that corruption, but not all the leaders are corrupt. The leaders are providing all the basic needs needed, not accepted. But all the leaders are not all the leaders are corrupt. They are building the road. I am too young to answer POI. But all the leaders are providing, they are building roads and providing they are providing social services. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to build on our third point stated by our first main speaker, that is community resilience and local initiatives. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen,
POI.
Not accepted. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen,
POI.
I am too young to answer your POI, please. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen, community resilience and local initiatives play a significant role in addressing poverty, contradicting the notion that poor leadership is the primary cause. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen, despite facing many challenges, the Acholi community has shown a remarkable resilience and resourcefulness. Local initiatives and community-led over projects have made a significant contribution to poverty reduction even without leaders. For example, community-based organizations like entrepreneurship training by the UN Peace Developing Fund, entrepreneurship training by the training 8,190 youths and women in entrepreneurship, resulting in 666 new startup and 104,667 jobs created within 3 months. Honorable agitators, our own very leader whom we are blaming them, they are the one providing the security. Like for example, they are advocating the army, police, soldiers. That will provide security. Like for example, during LRA war, people were running up and down. People were sleeping in the bush. Are we still running up and down? No, we are not running up and down. Honorable agitators, ladies and gentlemen, additional participating in in other sectors like education and healthcare, demonstrating the community's capacity to drive positive change. Honorable educators, ladies and gentlemen, given the community's effort and achievement, it's clear that poverty in the Acholi sub-region is not solely the result of poor leadership. Meanwhile, our opponents might argue that the leadership should support and scale up these community initiatives.
Refuted by saying we refuted by saying not everyone have technology for mining. They talked about Olanya Kilbert of working hard. We refuted by saying not only one person is able to control everyone. I am here to also advise you, my opponents, that when raise a reply speed 3 times, it's answered, not rejected. So next time, don't fear us, learn to answer. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Tim, for participating. Have a handshake, and I give it back to the moderator.
As the debaters are greeting themselves, I continue to enjoy the protocol as established from the beginning. Simon, as we organize to have the next session of the debate, we will give you the opportunity to speak with those who are following us. But still, if you are able to visit the WhatsApp group inside Parliament, sunrise, up through the night, then you will be able to follow this proceeding directly there from Studio B. But Simon, before you begin to take calls, let me first inform the schools. This one is St. Matthew, who is coming to meet with El Shaddai Team B. Please come forward. I hope that is the team that we are expecting. El Shaddai Team A in the proposition, and then St. Matthews. Please proceed.
Please. Thank you so much, Willie, Max, and the team in Studio B. I'll take your call, and of course, we just had a very good debate between Ego and then Labor Line. Hello, Favour FM. Hello.
Hello.
Afoy Madam Manya. Afoy Baraka.
Yeah. Debate no bad. And gonna say man what any the raising point of information. I don't call a good talk of law. Would be full what they were point and not share. We keep raising information.